Hello my friends, I'm Gosha from Cosmic Agency, and today I'm going to show you some information about the positronic energy and how it relates to the ascension process. I know I told you I would publish this video some time ago, and here it is. Okay, at the end I'm going to include a few more points from myself. Enjoy the video. Swaruu, I have this comment and question from a subscriber. I know that time does not exist. I really know it and I believe it. I know that there is life beyond Earth and infinite galaxies. I know that I am out there. But I want to live liberation of the Earth, the Ascension, and not waiting to die in this body. But there is no frame of reference for such an event. I want it, I desire it, but how do I build that timeline? How do I build that future? How do I build that intention to generate the frequency that will match the ascension? You must live it as if it had already occurred. That is how it occurs. It is not something that will happen to you. It is and must be something that you do for yourself. Everything is frequencies, and frequencies are the result of mental perception of consciousness. You want to know how? Fake it until you make it. You must live in that state of mind. You must not wait for something to happen. You must roll up your sleeves and get to it. Study. Be the change, doing every little detail that you feel would make a difference. There are no small details. Small things are only small from the human perception and scale of relevance, importance, not for a cosmic scale. Life is hard and life is terrible and life is cruel. But you people are even tougher, stronger than you ever imagined. You are not victims, but you will always go back to say that. The priest was mean to me when I was little and that's why I this and that. One of the biggest bullshit stories you have been told by all those New Agers is that this ascension thing is happening to you. You must be it. The positronic energies hitting Earth do exist. Those energies are frequencies coming from other consciousnesses, interacting and combining with yours. This is the famous energy flux positronic storm coming from the center of the galaxy. But people must flow with those energies, not resist them. And they are resisting them, clinging to their old mentality. No change will come like that. They will stay in their old paradigm and mentality. Some people call it sunstorms. Is that what the positronic storm is? It is a high energy wave that emanates from the center of the galaxy and is produced by the combined interactions of all the stars and planets in that region. It is of a very high frequency. It is a storm in space, and it hits Earth some 2 or 3 times a month. It is felt as spikes in the Earth's magnetic field, and it raises the Schumann resonance a lot. Although it falls again, it does not fall all the way down to the former reading, so it climbs a little each time. It is felt in space as a real physical storm, to the point that when it comes on strong, you must close the shutters on your ships and brace for impact. It hits the ships here like a storm in the sea would hit the sea ship. Yes, there is weather in space. The shields are up to the max, and you can hear how the particles hit the hull like millions of pieces of hail on a brass roof. The structure of the ship is also heard complaining about the additional stress. It does disturb muon transmissions and comm connections too. What triggers it? It is part of the very dynamics that make up matter in this universe. It's an energy wave in the ether. The Sun sends positrons to the Earth, and this raises the Schumann resonance. The center of the galaxy emits shock waves that are positively charged particles. They are very high frequency, above 10,000 terahertz, when the Schumann frequency of the Earth is about 16 Hz. But since it is mostly in other planes, it only hits Earth on a smaller scale. But that smaller scale is enough to create a rise in the Schumann frequency, and with that, the gradual dissolution of the 3D matrix. What is positronic wave? Let's see. It's not something that can be seen, or only with instruments that give it a shape or assign it an image according to the frequencies. It enters in waves. It is like a spiral or an arm of the galaxy. Imagine a curved arm that passes by, hitting everything in its path. It is a series of high frequencies of a lot of energy. It happens within the ether, but because of its nodes by its harmonics, it manifests on the physical side as positrons of high charge. They hit everything, and as expected, they modify the frequency of everything that passes, or of everything they touch, by the principle of dominant frequencies. For the same reason, when they go through the Sun, they modify it, they raise its frequency, and then it emits high-energy solar wind, increasing even more the wave of the energy from the center of the galaxy. Even though this wave of energy works and hits everything by itself, as they pass through the suns, they tend to amplify the energy they receive. It is said this energy comes from Alcyone. This is false. It comes from the center of the galaxy, and it is the same energy dynamic that the very galaxy creates. It is part of the galaxy. That's why it hits like arms of the spiral. Alcyone increases it, yes, but it does not come from Alcyone, nor does it come from this sun. They just amplify it. The Earth ascends because the whole quadrant ascends, whether they like it or not. It is just that by personal disposition, personal desires of each being, some will take longer than others. The question when has a future prediction load. I can't focus on just one. I only see multiple timelines. Regardless of the ascension of the entire quadrant of the galaxy, the Earth has another kind of ascension, which is that of the 3D to 5th density that is normal. This happens with the help and influence of the ascension of the quadrant, but mostly it is something independent because it does not depend on the center of the galaxy or anything like that. If a lunar control of low 3D suppressing frequencies was thrown out, it would stop working and all would return to a normal 5D. But even so, it is only a gradient and obeys many factors. It is not that it jumps from one density to another. It only goes up, but does not go up in the same way everywhere, because there is influence of other factors that either accelerate the process or slow it down. Factors such as desires of the collective timelines of its inhabitants, or exposure to other kinds of planetary influences and their inhabitants. That is, Venus is affected by the Earth, but it also receives influence in the form of frequency from other places, such as Jupiter and others. It is a great complicated soup of frequencies, a dance or a sea with its frequency waves that come and go. If everything is ascending just the same, this means that this force from the center of the galaxy has more power than lunar control. That is, if you, for example, wanted to continue to keep the Earth in 3D artificially, could that be? Or the natural ascension of the center of the galaxy would overpower it. The ascension is not the same everywhere. Each region goes at its own speed, depending on internal and external factors that affect it, as I said above. And yes, it is possible, but more energy is needed, more and more energy. The rays of the center of the galaxy activate DNA? That is another topic, but yes, it is not that they activate it as if they were not before. They are just transmitted frequencies, and by the principle of the dominant frequency, everything that is under the influence of a higher one will change frequency to be like the higher one. The consequence of that is that everything that was at a lower frequency, and therefore on a lower existential level, will inevitably have to increase its frequency as well. Principle of dominant frequencies.
So that was the video. How did you like it? I would like to add a few more points. Now, the positronic energy, as I was making this video, actually I wasn't going to add any personal commentary to this video because I thought everything was explained. But as I was editing, sometimes it does happen to me like that. I'm editing, and especially in both languages, this is like an opportunity for me to study it more, to understand it more. So as I was doing the information, translating the information about the positronic energy, how it originates from the center of the galaxy, and then with the principle of the dominant frequency, it influences and affects everything that it passes through. So the dominant frequency is the principle by which everything of the lower frequency becomes that of the higher frequency that is around it. So I would like to make an association here and a correlation. I think it's quite important to the presence of the starseeds and the presence of us, the awakened individuals on Earth. I believe we are the positronic energy being here inserted into the Earth collective mind in order to raise the frequency. Of course, we know this already, we heard this from other sources, but now as I was doing the video about the dominant frequency, it clicked, I understood it by our mere presence here. And you're going to ask yourself, what's my mission? What am I supposed to do? By mere presence of maintaining your frequency, of being who you are, and by the principle of dominant frequencies, we are changing and elevating other lower existential frequencies. Because that's the principle. We are here within the collective conscious minds, even though each one of us is in an individual world, but by agreements we are here together, and we are the positronic energy particles on Earth. And by bombarding the Earth with who we are, with our frequency and with our perception, that's so crucial and important. I will mention something about that soon. We are making the rest ascend with us, because they have to adapt to the higher frequency being dominant in the place by the principle of dominant frequency. Just by your presence, you are contributing to this cause. I know that we came here with that sensation of, what's the mission? Why am I here? But we forgot that being here is the mission most of the cases. That's why that knowing feeling is still there. But the fact is, we are terraforming the mass consciousness of Earth. So I mean, it was so clear to me when I was doing that part about the positronic energy, the ascension, and the principle of dominant frequencies. That's why we are here, to introduce those higher dominant frequencies in the human field. So the rest will have no choice but to slowly raise theirs as well. Amazing. So now, how do you do that? Just by being here. How do you change and how do you fight 3D? Do you really fight 3D by focusing on 3D and fighting 3D? Or by simply being 5D? You fight 3D not by putting your attention on it and fighting it, but by introducing the 5D beingness and frequency awareness and perception into the 3D. So by the principle of the dominant frequency, the 3D will have no other choice or perspective of being, but also to be elevated. Now, being 5D is the key. Being 5D perception, like she said here, the attitude is so important. Even fake it until you make it. How do you fight the darkness? How do you destroy the darkness? Not by going into the darkness and fighting in darkness, by turning on the light. It just dissipates. So you destroy, we collectively, 3D by being 5D. It sounds so simple, but it's so deep at the same time. And we had a video about how to be a 5D person. So I'm going to encourage you to watch that video. I will have the link here somewhere also, so you can watch that. How to be 5D person. Now this also relates to, and this is when you will understand why it was important to understand stellar navigation and how the ships operate with the toroidal immersion, because it's a similar process happening there. The ship is evolved and wrapped in the toroid of the higher frequency. They put in there the direction, whatever they want to go, and they become that direction. Okay, that toroid changes everything inside the ship to match that desired address, direction, frequency, and they manifest. Our Earth, our perception, we are, by our presence here, we are literally, and this is now my thoughts, it didn't come from them, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't disagree. We are literally wrapping the Earth and humans in a toroid field of new 5D and higher perceptions. Our perception, our attitude, our mind, our focus, sharp focus is very important, literally wraps the Earth and the humans in it, in that toroidic immersion field. And with that transforms all that's in it to match that is being projected into it. So the same as all the crew in the ship, when they go into ether, gets transported into the new address, new location in space-time by introducing new frequencies that the toroid generates. The same way, if we generate enough of the toroid, of the higher frequency, for Earth and for the humans, by the principle of the dominant frequencies, and just as it happens in stellar navigation, all the rest will become that is being projected. They will become that toroid that we are generating with our perception dictates. It's amazing when I was thinking about this, and it came to me that vision that our minds are like the starship, right? And all our collective minds are generating the toroidal immersion for all the humans. It's not just individually as well, of course, but it also works on the collective. That's why it's so important to watch your mind and your thoughts and your intention. Don't ever underestimate the power of your mind, of your consciousness, and what it can do. You want to help, you want to contribute, you want to fight the 3D, you want to fight the cabal, be the 5D, because they cannot exist on that level. They will simply dissipate. We will be transported, just like the ship gets transported into the ether and then manifests at another frequency. We will get transported by the new frequencies into the ascended 5D world. That's how we ascend. It's not going to happen pretty much in any other way. Because even though imagining the 3D suppression from the moon gets thrown out, still, like Swaruu explained here, our focus and our intention of the mind plays a huge, massive, if not the most important role in manifesting that 5D. So I'm thinking even if those 3D suppression fields were thrown out and eliminated, if the majority of the people, if all of us here collectively, individually, are still producing 3D ideas and 3D thoughts, that's where we will stay. So from now on, be the 5D person for yourself, and also for all the collective, for all the other human beings that are also on the same path. So let's keep generating that toroidal immersion for everybody with our focus. Please. And I'm not saying please like you are doing me a favor. You are doing it for yourself, and you are doing it because you are here for that. You signed up for this mission. This is your mission. So do it. Be the 5D person now, so we can get out of this 3D ridiculous nonsense. Okay, that's it. I think I shared everything I wanted to share on the subject. I'm saying these thoughts did not come from them specifically, but I'm pretty sure that it is in alignment with how they feel. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time. Thank you. Bye bye.